Hi, my name is Michael.G and have another video for you today. This is an incredibly important topic, and the purpose of this video is that a lot of people talk about things and they have no idea what they're talking about, and they believe the mainstream media, but they really don't perceive or comprehend what is in front of them. So we're going to get right into this, and if there's a video you should share, this is the one. Because if you base your thoughts on lies and incomplete evidence, then you're just as guilty, and the outcome is the same. If you give a baby a razor blade and you leave it by itself, there's going to be a tragedy. So the baby has no consciousness of what the razor blade is, and most people don't have consciousness of what's in front of them. So today it's the Russian-Ukrainian conflict is based upon U.S. greed. That's right, United States greed. Now I want you to follow along here so you understand how things work, so that you can see with the bigger eyes. Something happened in 2011. What happened in 2011? Fukushima. Why is that important? Fukushima. Watch what I'm saying. Fukushima in 2011. What happened in Fukushima? We had major radiation. We had detonation. We have radiation everywhere. Why? Because Fukushima was a power plant, which everybody knows. If you don't know, then you're in trouble. Forget this video. You got other problems. It's a power plant. What is it? It's a nuclear power plant. Exploded. Now, nuclear is a form of power, right? You get your electricity, right? All right. Now, why is that important for 2021? I'm going to show you right now. Nuclear power plant goes kaboom. Okay. This is a harsh reality of the dangers of nuclear power. So, what did Germany do? What did they do after 2011? They're closing up all their nuclear facilities. So all nuclear power plants from Germany are being terminated. Once the nuclear power plants are terminated, then there's three things you can do. You could do solar. You could say solar and renewable, which is a false anyway. Renewable energy, which doesn't work. Okay, forget that. Or coal and gas. Gas. You see this? Gas. Big letters. Gas. No more Fukushima. Germany got scared. We're dropping our nuclear. We got to go to gas. So, where are you going to get gas? Well, let me show you where. Russia. Russia is where your gas is going to come from. So Russian gas goes through Ukraine, and Ukraine ports go to EU. Okay? Ukraine makes money in between this. From Russian gas, goes to Ukraine, goes to European Union. The United States, USA, America, right? Gas companies said, oh my goodness, look at all this money that Russia's going to make. All this money Russia's going to make from this gas that we can't make any. The United States has LNG. Too expensive. Fracking, all that stuff started happening right around the same time. And the reason why is because the United States wanted to fill that void, but the LNG is still way too expensive. So, what did the United States do? In 2013, 2014, you have a coup d'etat. Coup d'etat. D'etat. Okay? Nice little French word. What's a coup d'etat? That means when you take out the elected government, which was pro-Russia, from Ukraine, and you install another government. This is a United States export. It's a United States CIA operation. How do you know this? Well, Victoria Nuland, who's an assistant of the Secretary of State, was handing out ham sandwiches in Kiev. What the hell is she doing there around 2014 handing out ham sandwiches? Really, think about that. What is she doing there? Now I'm going to refresh your memory a bit. Let's back up a bit. What were the Democrats saying? The Democrats were saying that there's Russian involvement with Trump, Russian involvement with Trump. Now, Trump's an idiot. Trump is an idiot. He is the master narcissist psychopath, and everybody props him up, so he's living his life as a narcissist psychopath. But there was no Russian involvement there. But there was Ukrainian involvement with Joe Biden's son. Joe Biden's son had corporate things going on. Joe Biden, his son, president now, Biden's son, was in Ukraine. Why do you think he was in Ukraine? Because of the gas companies. They want to turn over the government, and now all those gas profits would go to U.S. Joe Biden's son is in there, so this means that, the Democrats and whoever else is involved with that's going to make a lot of money. And they're going to be the middleman now between Russian gas and EU. The Ukrainian people are totally ignorant about this. And most of the world is ignorant about this. Because now Germany needs that gas, and we got to make money. The United States has to make money. So now, what did Putin do? Putin had a referendum, and the people of Crimea said, hey, man, I don't want to be here. I want to be part of Russia. Now, let's look at this again. The coup d'etat, which was brought, the coup d'etat was fascist supporters from Sweden were brought down for the coup d'etat. That's okay. But a referendum of the people wanting to be under Russia is no good. Okay. By Putin taking Crimea, he stopped the U.S. ability to make a profit off of the Russian gas. Totally stop it. All right. Let's go a little fast forward now. So now you got Ukraine, who makes big money on Russia's gas. Transit fees to go into EU. Okay? EU. Big money. Now Crimea is cut off. Ukraine embracing the United States with a fascist regime, now that's in there, that killed 13,000 people in the last 8 years. 13,000 Russians living in Ukraine. But you don't see that in the American news. You don't see that in the Western news. You'll see one tank running over somebody and everybody's horrified. Okay. But you don't know about the 13,000. If you look for it, you'll see 13,000. So Russia now, dealing with Ukraine. Ukraine embracing the United States. Russia's not stupid. Nord Stream 2. So what Nord Stream 2 is Russia now bypassing the profits, the gas going through Ukraine. This is how stupid the Ukrainian people are and leadership. In embracing the United States, it's Russia's gas. It's not Ukrainian gas. They were making free money. Now they lost that money. If you pay attention to the news, you'll see that the United States wanted to stop Nord Stream 2. It got to a point where Putin could have easily started shooting ships, because this is national interests now. The United States is playing with the national interests of Russia. Russia's a nuclear power. The bear is here. This is the bear. Don't mess around with the nuclear power, because you never know when it can bite. So, Nord Stream 2, they tried to stop Nord Stream 2, and Western nations were crying that Ukraine should be allowed to make the money still. Why? Why? They want to embrace the United States. The United States now keeps sending military stuff to Ukraine. Russia can't have that kind of involvement on its borders. Because during World War II, when the Nazis came in, they came in through Russia, through Ukrainian territory. That territory has to be off limits. Just like the Cuban Missile Crisis. They didn't want Russia to have Cuban missiles on... they didn't want Russia to have missiles in Cuba. And, you know, we can understand that, right? Would you want that? Would you want the Russians having missiles pointed in Washington, D.C. in Mexico? No, you don't. So why would the Russians expect the Ukraine... Why would you expect Russia to allow Ukraine to have military, United States military, and United States big money interests in Ukraine? It's Russia's gas. They built Nord Stream 2. This is 2022. 2022. This is about gas and money. Russia had to go into Ukraine because the United States was not going to stop. And, you know, not for nothing. This is what greed does. It gives you a false narrative. So now, if you listen to the news, they don't talk about all this. Everybody remembers 2011. You could look up Germany. Germany's shutting down all their nuclear power plants. They started shutting them down since 2011. Now they have like 4 left. So they really are dependent on gas. So Russia has the gas tank. You know, I don't know how to draw a gas tank. But let's just say this is the gas tank, right? Gas. And it's right next to EU countries. All right? The EU is okay letting its people pay 20 times for heating costs so that they can screw their own people instead of buying the gas from Russia. Yeah. They'll make their people pay 20 times more. Listen to what Biden said this week. He says all your prices are going to go up. Everything's going up in the United States because of what's going on in Ukraine. You know, this is all about money. If you sit there and tell me that the Ukraine-Russia conflict is Russia's fault, then you got a lot. I got a bridge to sell to you. You need to send me your information so I can sell you the Brooklyn Bridge, because it's not about, you know, Russia is looking to be the axis of evil. That's not the case. That's not the case. You have to really look at what people say to you, why they're saying it to you. What's the undercurrent? I mean, really, why would Russia go into Ukraine? There's got to be a reason, right? He's not a madman. They're trying to paint him as a madman. Was Putin... Let me refresh your memory so we understand who we're talking about, because there's always a history here, always a history. Now, Turkey shot down 2 Russian planes. Now, what happened is that the Russian planes, this is Turkey, the Russian planes were going over Turkish territory to bomb ISIS. Isn't ISIS the bad guy? ISIS is the bad guy. But Turkey shot down these planes because the U.S. pressured Turkey. This is on Putin's watch. Putin has an act of war in front of his face right now. He can rightfully escalate this and obliterate Turkey. But Putin didn't do that. What did Putin do? He pulled tourism. He told the Russian people, don't go to Turkey. And what happened in Turkey? Erdogan had so many people crying to him saying that we're broke now. We have no money because the Russian tourists are not coming to Turkey. So what did he do? Erdogan had to bend the knee and kiss Putin's ring. Now, why? Because Turkey was at fault. They should have never shot down those Russian planes. But they did it on behest of the United States. Did Putin fire a shot after those 2 Russian planes were killed? And while the planes, after they were shot, you know, the 2 people or 4 people, as they were coming down, they were shooting them. That violates the Geneva Convention. You're not supposed to be parachuting people after they get out of a plane that's been shot down. That violates the Geneva Convention. You can capture them and then put them in a prison or something, but you can't be shooting them on the way down. That's disgusting. What happened? What Turkey did, but Putin handled it like a statesman. He's not a madman. Okay, let's look at another thing. Remember Syria? Remember, Assad was gassing his people? That was a lie. It was the white helmets that were doing it. So they didn't go in with a major conflict. What did Russia do? Putin diffused the issue. He diffused the issue, and Syria wasn't destroyed. Or freedom wasn't brought to Syria like it was brought to Iraq. Putin diffused it. When Putin got involved, or Russia got involved with Syria, in a few weeks, they made more headway against ISIS than the United States did in 3 years. In 3 years. You have to pay attention to what's going on. Don't listen to that idiot box when the corporate media, bought out by the government and placating, government and big oil and big money, tells you, Russia's the bad people here. It makes sense now, right? 2011, Fukushima, Germany now needs gas, right? After 2011, Germany needs gas. This is about gas. One more thing, too, about Crimea. Another part of Crimea. Crimea gets its water through Ukraine. And what Ukraine was doing was they dammed up the water. This has been going on for years now. This is not a today thing. They've been damming up the water. They're not supposed to do that in the Geneva Convention. So now they're starving the citizens of Crimea for years. The first attack that happened within that 1 hour was to unblock this dam. The only purpose of this dam was to stop the water running that comes to Crimea. I'm pretty sure you don't know that. I'm pretty sure. If you watch the mainstream media, I'm almost 100% sure that most people do not know this. There are deeper issues involved. But I bet you were pretty surprised when you found out that Fukushima and the need for gas now in Europe, and now how the citizens of the EU are getting screwed by their leadership, because one of the reasons they stopped the Nord Stream 2, the reason was Germany wanted to make money off the top. They wanted to add like a percentage off the top so they make more money on the gas coming in. That's the reason that they held off Nord Stream 2. So it's okay. Your gas prices can shoot up. That's all right. It's okay. But we have to export freedom. Listen to the news, what they're telling you. They're saying that Ukraine is a democracy. Ukraine's government was not a democracy. It was a coup d'etat. It's a puppet government. It's a client state of the United States of America. It's a U.S. exported client state. It's not a democracy. It's not. And listen to what this guy says in charge. There's no way that Ukraine can win. So he wants to fight, and he knows that Putin's not coming in there to take over Ukraine, just to stop the United States' involvement with Ukraine that's bringing in munitions and have a NATO country at their doorstep, which they were not supposed to do. Western nations were not supposed to be at the doorstep of Russia or Soviet Union back when they made those agreements. This is what's in front of you right now. So now they want you to believe this lie. Because if you believe the lie, then you're going to defend the lie. And I can see it in Facebook, in people putting up these pictures of one person getting run over with a tank, and I tell them, well, what about the 13,000 that died in the last 8 years? That the Ukrainian militia was killing these 13,000 Russians. I go, why don't you talk about that? Why don't you talk about that? If you believe these lies that you're being fed, you're going to lose. You're going to lose touch of reality. Not only reality of the news, but you're going to lose touch of reality in your own endeavors. I had spoken about the 2008 recession in the United States. Too big to fail. To fail. That was what was exported or told to the American public. We got to keep those big businesses. Got it too big to fail. But it's okay that millions of people lost their homes. That's okay. You see, if you really had capitalism and you had a big carcass of a whale of a company, what ends up happening is when the whale dies, I don't know if you know this, but when a whale dies, a big whale like a sperm whale, when that dies, for the next 50 years, it feeds everything off of the carcass. In capitalism, if the whale dies, a lot of little banks would start sprouting up. People would have had forgiveness for their loans. Or people would be able to rebuy their loans back at 10 cents on the dollar. Why not? How about refinancing your house at 10 cents on the dollar? Or 5 cents on the dollar? Because this is the kind of deals that were being done so the big whale can stay alive. If you really had capitalism, if you really had a free market, you would have seen thousands of people in jail after 2008. The only country that did go after the bankers was Iceland. Iceland. And if you look at it, Iceland was shunned by England and a few other countries. They were shunned. Remember when that... and God has a sense of humor, let me tell you. God has a sense of humor. So you have England and Iceland. So they prosecuted bankers, right? England then, put major sanctions on Iceland. And they had that volcano. Remember that volcano that erupted? It shut down England for a little while. They went right from Iceland into England. They couldn't even fly their planes. It's pretty funny how things work out. Iceland bounced back, and they actually have a pretty interesting economy. We're headed to nuclear war because people are justifying this lie. And when sin is formed, the end is death. And what does it say about Cain? Jesus said about the liars, he's a manslayer. If we allow these lies to happen, we're going to be part of the manslaying. What are you going to do to stop this? What are you going to do? You got to hold up the truth. If you're going to make a sacrifice, sacrifice yourself for the truth. Do your part. Maybe you could spread this video to somebody else. Maybe this will wake somebody up who knows somebody that can make a difference. Because with the 6 degrees of separation, if you know 6 people, you know everybody on the planet. 6 people knows everybody on the planet. So your little contribution can turn out to be a very big contribution to stop this madness. Because we are headed for nuclear war unless this stops. Because the greed, the love of the money is causing all this. Really don't know what else to say. But, I'm watching the news, I'm appalled. Because the news is sending you the narrative that they want you to believe so that they can say, yes, we got to go help Ukraine. You want to help Ukraine? Get the United States out of that. It's not a democracy. It's a client state for the United States. And if you think it's okay to go deal and confront the nuclear power when you're in the wrong, you're not going to like what you're going to get. So I hope everybody has enjoys having shaved heads, because your hairs are going to start falling out when the nuclear weapons start going, because the psychopath and narcissists that are running the country are not going to stop. Somebody has to give them the no. They're not getting the no. They need that no. You have to say your no to them. Don't say yes when it's wrong. Find out what the truth is. Dig a little. Find out. And then after that, maybe you can impact somebody else's life that knows somebody that can stop something. I'm not condoning violence. It's not about violence. It's about truth. Truth. Get the truth out. Truth. Truth. Figure out what the truth is. And start living truth. Because let me tell you, even the Bible talks about that you're going to make the war machines. That's when God gave Saul as the king of Israel. He said, your children are going to die in war, and you're going to be funding their war machines. God bless, and pray that this all works out. And God, pulls the rug out from under these psychopaths. God bless.